Okay, so I made 2 videos about the worst One Piece and Bleach filler. You should watch them. I also made a video about Naruto filler, but you shouldn't watch that one though. It's pretty trash. But after making 2 videos about the worst filler arcs in One Piece and Bleach, I feel like I have to make one about Naruto. Okay, so finding the worst filler arc in Naruto was kind of hard because most people think they all kind of ass. But the 2 arcs that most people could agree were the worst was the Naruto Shippuden Yota arc and the Tsunagakure support mission. I don't know why it's called that. They don't ever say that shit in the arc. I'm gonna cover the Yota arc first since it's only like 4 episodes. Alright, so this is a war arc filler, so you already know it's kinda ass. So Ino, Shikamaru, Choji, Sakura, and this bum ass nigga Kiba find this random kid crying. The kid hits him on the head and now they all suddenly remember that he's Yota. Alright, so back in the day, they all used to be like best friends with Yota. Yota has the ability to control the weather with his emotions. At first, only Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji were friends with him, but slowly more people become friends with him, like Sakura, Naruto, Kiba, dirty ass, you know, everybody. Everybody loves Yota. They're all best friends until he gets kidnapped by the Anbu Black Ops. Shout out to Anbu Black Ops. They can't fight any strong niggas, but they can kidnap the shit out of a kid. But anyway, they sneak into where Yota is being held pretty easily. But it turns out this was a setup and they knew the kids were sneaking in and they just let them. For some reason, I don't know why. Like they could have just stopped them before they got there. It was really no purpose to let them in. But one of them karate chops Naruto. Yuta gets mad, so he knocks the Akatsuki out. These niggas are useless. They can't even kidnap a kid. It was like 4 of them and all of them got knocked out. But they run out the building with Yota and they almost drown. Well, actually, Yota does drown. But before he dies, he makes everybody forget he existed. And after that, none of them are friends anymore. Even though Choji and Shikamaru hang out with this nigga like a week later. But who cares, I guess. It also turns out Yoto is actually a test for the reanimation jutsu, so he actually gets back up after he dies, and he's been waiting for the perfect moment to come back. But after this little flashback, he freezes himself and breaks himself, and that's the end of the arc. Alright, so this is the arc right before Naruto ends. I've actually watched this arc way too many times to count, honestly. Alright, so Goro, Temari, and Kankuro are like instructors for this little combat training thing in the sand village, but nobody wants Goro to be their instructor because the nigga got like a demon living inside him and shit, besides this one girl that proceeds to get kidnapped a couple minutes later. So they chase after them and the word gets back to the Leaf Village and they want to help, so they basically send the whole Konoha 11. Now see, the reason they ain't sent Jonis instead is because they coincidentally happen to be outside the village. That's also the reason they didn't replace Kiba dumbass with Shino, but they call this Operation Returning a Favor for helping try and get Sasuke back. But Goro, Kankuro, and Temari eventually catch up with the group, but they do that little thing where it's like, you guys go ahead, I'll fight him alone. You know, they did the same thing in the Sasuke retrieval arc. So Temari and Kankuro separate from Goro. They're doing their little fights, they're getting cooked, and then the Leaf Village ninjas show up to help them. It's kind of lame this time, I'm not gonna hold you. Just like these villains, these niggas are lame as hell. I'm not even really sure if they have names, and if they do, I'm 90% sure they're making that shit up, but they help them fight. The fights really aren't that good, honestly. The villain group's powers are kind of lame too. Like this nigga has armor that drains chakra. It's just not hard, but they beat the villains, and now it's Goro versus the main villain, Hoki. Told you, that shit sound made up as hell. Like who is this nigga? Who is Hoki? Now see, Hoki comes from a village that like makes ninja tools and shit. While fighting Goro, he turns himself into a living ninja tool called Seimei, but Goro gets up and wins the fight, and it's basically the end of the arc. Alright, so now that I've watched both of the worst Naruto arcs, I want to rank them in comparison to the other big 3 arcs. So if I had to rank them from 1 being the best and 4 being the worst, the Bout arc would be number 1. It's easily the best filler arc I've seen. Number 2 would be the Yota arc. It's actually a pretty solid arc, especially for a war arc filler, considering most of them are pretty garbage. Then after that, I'll put both One Piece filler arcs I watched. The Rainbow Mist arc was pretty cool from what I remember, but that other one was kind of trash. And the last arc would be the Tsunagakure arc. I remember watching that arc a lot as a kid, and I do not remember it being that ass. Like the fights is boring, the villains is trash. I remember kind of liking the arc as a kid, but there's another Naruto filler that is way worse that I didn't see once. That one filler where Mitsuki broke out of jail. That arc will always piss me off, bro. He was fighting Naruto and he turned into like a tiger or some shit, and he had like a girlfriend or something. I haven't watched that arc in years, but I still remember it. I used to want to break my TV whenever that shit came on.
Y'all like saying Dutch, yeah, slime for them butts, yeah. Y'all boys sweet like Captain Crunch, walk inside the cabin.